everybody, my name is Mars. You can call me MG if you would like, and it is not currently 9 p.m. It's 8 p.m., so only marginally better, but I want to read a book, so I gotta start the vlog for the book that I want to read so that I can then start reading the book. You know how I am by now, this happens so often, but yeah, this is the 4th week of my 1 week, 1 hrcyed prompt vlog challenge that I'm doing in December, so that's the final week. I am sad to see it go, but also thankful because I would like a little bit less structure to my reading for the moment. So I just gotta get through this. I have some very good options for these reads. If you saw my last vlog, or if you didn't see my last vlog, the prompt that got rolled was Heritage Months, and I've got 3 really good options, and the one that I'm going to start with is Hot Wax by ML Rio. I have this as an ebook from Libby, and I don't know much about this. I know it is like a mystery, maybe thriller-y type book. I'm not the biggest fan of thrillers, but I'm still optimistic about reading this. I've enjoyed Emil Rio's books before. If We Were Villains, I really enjoyed. I did like Graveyard Shift better though, which is an unpopular opinion. Not a lot of people loved Graveyard Shift. I really enjoyed it, and I think I liked it more than I liked If We Were Villains. So, going into this, I know there's like a classic rock element. I think the main character's dad was like a rock star or something, and now there's like stuff from his past catching up to her, and maybe murders happening. I really do not know. I will give you a better blurb summary once I actually have read some and know what I'm talking about, because all of that could be completely wrong. I have no idea. But yeah, I'm going to start reading it tonight. I think I'm gonna just get cozy in bed and maybe put on a YouTube video and start reading it, and see you when I've got an update. It is Sunday night, by the way. Technically, I shouldn't be starting this until tomorrow because my weeks start on Monday, so my 1 week, 1 hrcyed prompt would start tomorrow. We're starting it today. It's fine. There are no rules. Well, there are rules, but breaking the rules has no consequences here. It's fine. I'm gonna get started on reading, and I will see you once I've made some progress in this book. Okay, friends, it is just past 4 p.m. on Monday, and unfortunately I am not vibing with Hot Wax at all, so at 15% in, I'm just gonna DNF it. I am not connecting with the characters, and the writing style is so hard to get through. It's like 95% dense description of just like the setting and everything, which like, yeah, describe the setting for me, but don't make that the entire book. And I've read some reviews of the book, and it does not have a great rating on Goodreads. It's got like a 3.4, which is quite low for Goodreads, and I just, based on what I've read, I'm not gonna enjoy it if I keep going. So we're gonna cut our losses, and I do have to pick a new book for the Disability Heritage prompt, and I also have to pick a new book for the red prompt in the rainbow challenge, because I was also going to use Hot Wax for that, but I'm not going to worry about that now. This piece of hair is getting in my face and it's really bothering me. I'm not going to worry about that now. I'll find another book, or probably books, because I don't know if I'm going to find another book that covers both prompts at a later point. Instead, we're just going to pick a different one of the Heritage Month prompts to be my kind of attempt at redoing the first book in this vlog. So we're gonna go with There There by Tommy Orange for the Indigenous Heritage Month prompt. So this is a book that I have read, I think like 3 times before. This is probably gonna be my 4th read of it. I really enjoy this book. I think it is so well written, and the characters are amazing. I know that because I've read it several times, so I feel like it's just a very good switch from Hot Wax, because it's also contemporary, and that's not a genre I usually reach for, so it's also something that I was kind of struggling with in Hot Wax, but with this book, I know that I can enjoy that type of vibe. I don't know, I really love fantastical things, whether it is fantasy or sci-fi or horror with like a supernatural twist. Those are my favorite kinds of settings and plots, but there are some books that don't have any of that that I still really enjoy. So I will be rereading There and enjoying it as much as I did the first several times that I read it, I assume. Yeah, so I'm gonna crack into this at some point today and update you when I've made some progress. Hello friends, it is Tuesday afternoon and I have finished part 1 of There, so I'm about a quarter of the way through, and I'm just having a really good time. I think especially on a reread, it's just so clear how masterfully crafted this book is and all of the plot lines, because like, I know where it's going. I've read this book several times before. I know how everything comes together, but like seeing the little details, and like it's been a few years since I've read them, so this isn't like fresh in my mind, but like seeing in one person's story like this detail that will tie it to another character's story later on, like it's so fun noticing all of that. And this is quite a complicated story. There are a lot of POV characters and they're all in first person, which could get confusing, but they're so well distinguished from each other that I don't think it's really a problem. In this first part, we have 4 different POVs that we've met. So we have Tony, he is disabled, he had fetal alcohol syndrome, and now he has an intellectual disability because of that. And he, basically he's just a drug dealer. He does a lot of, like, the street work for it, so, like, he'll find people who want to buy drugs, and then he'll go to his supplier and be like, these are what we need for these people. And his supplier owes someone a lot of money. So he's like, hey, there's this big powwow happening. This takes place in Oakland, California. There's this big powwow happening at the Coliseum in Oakland. We're gonna rob all the prize money that they have there, and that's how I'm gonna pay back this guy that I owe all this money to. And Tony's kind of just like, I have to go along with this because this is the life that I lead. We also meet, oh gosh, I'm forgetting characters' names already. Dean. Dean is the second character we meet. He is looking to get a grant to do this, like, indie film that he wants to do on behalf of his uncle, who was, like, he had the original idea for this film where it's basically just going to be not really interviewing Native Americans who grew up in Oakland or have since moved to Oakland and lived there for a period of time, but like just letting them tell their own stories, which I guess sounds like interviewing, but like they explain it a lot better in his section, like what he's trying to do. So he's doing this thing. Then there is Opal Viola, that's her name. I almost said it backwards. Her first name is Opal Viola, and her section, we don't know a lot about her present day. She tells a story from when she was younger, from when her mother took her and her sister to live on Alcatraz during the Native American occupation of the island. And so that's really cool. I like how we kind of jumped back in time because I know how all of that is going to play out in future sections. And then we meet Edwin. Edwin is half Native American, half white. His mother's white, and he never knew his dad until he finally, like, finds him on Facebook and is starting to learn a little bit about that side of his family. And Edwin also has a lot of health problems. He's been dealing with mental health issues, and that has compounded into physical health problems. He is very overweight, and that is affected him very negatively. And so we're getting, like, all these little snippets of people's lives, and knowing how they're all going to come together is just such a fun reading experience. So I'm very excited to continue on with this. I will be doing that. I don't know if I'll update you at the end of part 2 because there's 2 more parts in the next 75% of the book. But like at this point in time, I've read this so many times that I don't know what is considered a spoiler and what isn't. So I don't want to spoil you on things. But I do know that we get more POV characters. Like, for example, the beginning of part 2, POV character of Bill. Bill is Edwin's mom's boyfriend. And I believe Opal Viola's sister gets a POV at some point. And this other woman who I know her connection to the rest of the story, but I will not spoil that for you here. Like, we get so many POV characters, and then just how they all come together is so well done. Also, though, I did learn that Tommy Orange's more recent release, Wandering Stars, I thought was like a sequel to There There. It is not technically. It is a like companion novel, I guess, told in a similar way. This one person on Goodreads called it a sequel, a prequel, and a companion novel all wrapped into one, which is very intriguing. Goodreads does not list it as part of a series with this, it lists them both as standalones, but that doesn't really matter. I can consider things how I want to consider them. So yeah, I am excited to continue on with this. So I will see you maybe at the end of part 2 or maybe at the end of the book as a whole. I don't know when that will be because tomorrow is Christmas Eve, but it's when I will be doing all of my traveling and celebrating. We're going to be, my boyfriend and I, going up to North Jersey to visit my parents, and it's a 2-hour drive there. Then we're going to be doing like all the holiday stuff and then a 2-hour drive back. So that will be very tiring. After that, though, I don't have much else going on, so I'll be reading. And I will see you with an update at some point. So as you can see, I've got a very sleepy Grem here, my sweet baby. It is 11 p.m. Sorry if I'm very loud on your ear, gremlin. I will only be a second. It is 11 p.m. Chloe is approaching. I have just finished part 2 of There There, and I'm still really enjoying it. I was wrong earlier. They are not all first-person perspectives. Some of them are in third person, so it does switch back and forth a little bit. And there's a lot of timeline jumping, but it is still very good. I'm a little past the halfway mark now with finishing part 2. I believe there are only 3 parts. So I am going to go to bed and do a little bit of reading on this tomorrow. Maybe finish it, maybe not. Timeline on travel plans has changed a little bit, so I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. But yeah, I'll see you when I finish reading this book. Hello, friends. It is 6:45 on Thursday. Merry Christmas. I have just finished There, and I sobbed. You know a book is good when it makes you cry the 4th time you've read it. Like, I knew what was gonna happen. I didn't remember, like, all the details, like, what happens to every single character throughout, but, like, I knew ultimately the plot and the big climax at the end and most of the fallout. And it still hit me so hard. This book is just so well crafted, and it's not even that long. It's less than 300 pages, and it's able to do so much character work and work with themes in this short amount of pages that it's truly admirable. It's just an amazing book, and I'm so glad to have been able to read it again, and I'm very much looking forward to reading Wandering Stars. I'm gonna hopefully get to that sometime earlier in the new year rather than later if I can help it. I'm gonna try and make that one a priority, though I've been saying that about a lot of books lately, so we'll see if it actually happens. But yeah, absolutely amazing book as expected. Now, oh hey, Louise Erdrich blurbed this. She's actually mentioned in this book. That's really funny. Didn't know that. Anyway, yeah, time for the second book of the vlog. Technically third, but I DNF'd Hot Wax, so we're ignoring that. I did pick out books to replace the prompts it was supposed to fulfill. Yes, I had to split it up, so that's another book out of the list, but it's fine. I'm not gonna be reading either of those in this vlog, but I will show them to you later on if I remember. They're on the other side of the room. I can't get them right now. But the next book I will be reading is Other Words for Home by Jasmine Warga. I have the audiobook checked out on my library, and it's very short. It's less than 4 hours, and I usually listen to audiobooks at 1.5 to 2 times speed, depending on the way the narrator speaks. Although, since I'm not reading it physically along with it, I'm just listening to it as an audiobook, I might not listen quite so fast, but still, 4 hours total at 1 time speed is such a short audiobook. It's told in verse, so I feel like that's gonna make it feel like it's going by faster. I think I'm going to start listening to this in a little bit. I want to do some cleaning. I have not put away any of my Christmas gifts yet, and I want to prep for visitors. That's the word I'm looking for. My boyfriend's parents are visiting this weekend, and so I want to make sure the apartment is as clean as I can get it to be. So I'll be doing cleaning tonight, and I will also be doing journaling. I have to do a journal spread for there, and I also have to do my regular nightly bullet journaling for today and yesterday, because I didn't get home until like 11 p.m. yesterday, and normally if I don't do my journaling at night, I'll do it right away in the morning, but I didn't today, so I just have 2 days worth of journaling to do. So while all of that is happening, I will be listening to Other Words for Home, and because it is so short, I think I will just come back to you when I finish it, instead of like halfway through. Oh, by the way, there is a 4th part in this book. I just didn't remember that. Part 3 is really short. It's only like 3 or 4 chapters. But I didn't come back to you after part 3, A, because it was so short, and B, because I just wanted to finish the book, so I kept reading. So, yeah. I am gonna get going on my cleaning and listening to that audiobook, and I will see you when I have finished it to let you know what I think. Hello friends, it is now 9:30 and I have finished listening to Other Words for Home. I also got all of my journaling and most of the cleaning I wanted to do done, so I'm considering that a win. I really enjoyed Other Words for Home. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was so sweet and also impactful for what it was. I mean, it was a middle grade. I'm not really the intended audience for that, but I can imagine it being great for the actual intended audience, a lot better than it was for me, even though I still enjoyed it. I do think it was very short. I mean, it was very short, I know that, but I think it was almost a little too short. Like, there were some chapters that were like 5 seconds long, because it was literally 3 sentences. Like, it really zoomed by, which isn't bad, but I just wish it had a little bit more going on, you know? It did cover some very heavy topics, and I thought it did that very well. I just wish there was a bit more meat to it, if that makes sense. So, not the most amazing book I've ever read, but still very good, and I really enjoyed listening to it, and I'm glad that I listened to it. So, we are done reading for this vlog, but before I say goodbye, I'm going to show you the books that I will be putting onto my hrcyed plans in place of Hot Wax, since I DNF'd that. So, in place of the Disability Heritage Month, I will be reading Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses. It literally has chronic illnesses in the title, and specifically, the main character Priya has chronic Lyme disease, so definitely fits that disability aspect. And basically, Priya is she in college? She's like college age, and she lives at home with her family and again, she has this chronic Lyme disease. She joins this kind of chat room online for people with chronic illnesses, and she makes friends with Bridget. And when Bridget suddenly goes radio silent, Priya's like, I gotta find out what's happening with my friend. She arrives at Bridget's house, and there's a werewolf in the basement, and she's like, oh my god, is that Bridget? I'm very intrigued by this. I also really like that Priya is from New Jersey and she goes to Pennsylvania where Bridget lives. I'm from New Jersey. I live in Pennsylvania. It just feels a little bit like fun to me, like a little Easter egg about my own life. So that's really fun. This and the other book I will be showing you because yes, I did have to split up the two prompts that Hot Wax was supposed to cover because this is clearly not a red cover. They're both ARC copies that I got out of a little free library in my area. This book, I think, came out in like 2022. Like, it is quite old by this point, so it is a very outdated ARC. But the other book that I will be reading for the red cover prompt actually just came out a few months ago, and that is This Is My Body by Lindsay King Miller. Oh, I don't know if I said the author of this, but this is by Kristen O'Neill. But this is a queer horror. I love queer horror about a single mother. What's her name? Bridget. Oh, hey, that's really funny, and it's like the same spelling too. Brigid. I didn't notice that until right this moment. That's really funny. But this Bridget is a single mother. She's also gay and has kind of gone no contact with her very devoutly Catholic family, and lives with her daughter Dylan, and they're kind of just doing their own thing until suddenly Dylan starts acting strange, and Bridget is remembering when she was younger this girl who was acting the same way Dylan is now, and only recovered from it after an exorcism. So she starts to think, despite all of her like hesitations about it, that maybe her daughter is possessed, and she goes back to her family and the family priest or whatever. I don't know exactly the relation to the priest, but this guy who performed the exorcism when she was younger to try and help her daughter, only to then discover some secrets and realize that in going back to her family, her and her daughter are in more danger than they ever have been. So that sounds super cool, and this very clearly has a red cover. It's like a dark red, almost like a burgundy, but like it's still red, so it counts. And I'm very excited to read both of those books. I was gonna say hopefully I can get to them soon, but I've been saying that about a lot of books lately. I've been being like, oh, I'm gonna try and prioritize this to get to it early in 2026. I do not have the time to get to all of the books that I've said I wanted to get to in early 2026, but we're gonna try anyway. Yeah, this was an interesting week. I read more than it feels like I read. I think just because I've been kind of all over the place, very scatterbrained. But I feel like it was a pretty successful week. I mean, I did DNF a book, but then I reread one of my favorites, and then I read another book that I really enjoyed. So I'm considering that a win. But this is the last of my 1 week, 1 hrcyed prompt vlogs, sadly. I do want to do this again, maybe in the springtime? I'm not sure. If you've enjoyed this setup and you want to see more of these 1 week, 1 hrcyed prompt kind of vlogs, let me know. Because, I mean, I would do it because I want to do it, but if you guys want to see it too, then that's even more motivation to actually get it done, you know? Yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. If you guys have enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.